Hello and welcome to episode 106 of Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty. Of course, I am your host, Rick Doherty. We have a very busy episode of the show today. Later, we'll be joined by my good friend Gillian. This upcoming weekend, Gillian and a ton of her friends, including yours truly, will be heading to Walt Disney World to celebrate her birthday. This is why we'll be talking about different ways to celebrate at WDW. Gillian is also more likely to enjoy an alcoholic beverage at Walt Disney World than most of the other guests and co-hosts of the podcast. That means we can actually cover a topic that we rarely discuss. Speaking of celebrating drinking and rowdy behavior, this past Saturday was the first day of Mardi Gras 2023 at Universal Studios, Florida. See all of the festivities by checking out my vlogs on the Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty YouTube channel. Make sure you're subscribed and check out the food, parades, and more. Before we know it, Epcot will be starting up another festival. The International Flower and Garden Festival kicks off on March 1st and runs until July 5th. Disney has announced the musical acts set to play the Garden Rocks concert series. Several artists on tap for the series are Daughtry, Smash Mouth, Blue Oyster Cult, Berlin, the Pointer Sisters, Starship, Switchfoot, A Flock of Seagulls, Kool and the Gang, Joe D. Messina, Rick Springfield, Plain White Tees, Vertical Horizon, A Simple Plan, Living Color, Wang Chung, and more. Some quick news announcements from Disney. Work has already begun on several new Disney movies, including Frozen 3 and Toy Story 5. Bob Iger has confirmed that Avatar will be coming to Disneyland Resort in some form or fashion. Most importantly, Chip and Dale will begin holding meet and greets at Disney's Hollywood Studios while wearing their Rescue Rangers outfits beginning on February 15th. Let's get things started by welcoming my good friend Gillian to the show. Thanks for being here, G.
No problem, bestie.
So one of the reasons that I don't get to have you on the show very often is because we do Disney the same way a lot, where we're able to go a lot more than other people. So since we go the same way, you don't bring that much of a different perspective. But I think today I have a topic that only people who go as much as we're able to go to the parks can really understand or elaborate on to a degree that we can have a real conversation. And that is celebrating big events. We're specifically going to be talking about birthdays because you have a birthday coming up later this month, and celebrating things at Walt Disney World. The reason that I think somebody who goes as much as I go and as much as you go to the parks bring a unique perspective is because we're doing this stuff every year. Every year we have birthdays. Every year we have different things that we celebrate, and we do that by going to the parks. So we've tried a whole lot of different things, and also one other reason is one of those things is going to be drinking around the world. And since nobody who ever comes on my show is any fun, you can actually talk about drinking around the world. Apparently, my podcast doubles as a temperance lecture or something. So first things first. And I know with your upcoming birthday, one of the things that we're going to be doing is drinking around the world at Epcot. So this is an experience that a lot of people do, but I think a lot of people who've never done it don't even believe it's possible.
It is possible. I've done it. Much to my own detriment, I've done it. It is very possible. You give yourself enough time and you pace yourself good enough, and all that classic eat. Keep your stomach full, drink, hydrate. It's very possible to do and have fun and a nice memorable time. Keyword memorable time.
So I know you might not want to think about it while you're doing it, and obviously because you do it a lot around your birthday, there might be people buying you drinks and things of that nature. But if somebody is looking to drink around the world, this isn't a cheap venture. this is something that you're going to have to be prepared to set aside a lot of money to try to do something like this, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially for me because I mean, and this is just my preference, but I do not drink beer or wine. So to accomplish this, goal, game, win this game, whatever you want to call it, yeah, we're looking, $15 to $20 a drink for all 11 countries. So there you go. That's going to be a pricey night for me.
And I know for somebody who is doing a celebration, that's not a huge thing for a celebration. Like those tend to get pricey. Somebody who's on vacation, that tends to be pricey. I'm surprised by some people, especially some people we know who can do it all the time. But that is definitely sort of a challenge to deal with the price. Do you find that this is a fun atmosphere when you try to do it? Like when we were all in our 20s and we would hit the bars and you would party like that and it was a fun atmosphere, do you find that drinking around the world is a fun atmosphere, or are you getting frustrated by people around you?
I think it might be some level of I'm institutionalized now, but I mean, again, because like as you said, we are people who hit these parks up all the time, and that's not everybody is not able to do that. I am just happy to be there. It is never like I to this day in my ripe old age, I am still the same level of excitement and happy to be in those parks and having my fun time. For me, it's not a problem. The crowds are not a problem. The people is not a problem. It's just one big bar. It's just one big gigantic happy bar. I mean, for drinking around the world.
I think that is definitely one of the reasons I gravitate towards the people I do gravitate to in the community, and that is the people who don't get too up in their heads about the parks and remember that this is all supposed to be fun and we shouldn't worry too much about the new parking lot signs or anything like that. And we should just have fun. And you definitely do that. You are not one of these people who stresses about getting every single thing done in the parks. Part of that is because you do get to go as often as you get to go to them. But I think part of that is just an attitude adjustment. Like you think about it and you make that conscious effort not to take this for granted that you get to do this as much.
I agree. I mean, I wouldn't at this age still be going there and doing this if it had lost any of its luster for me. I very much enjoy it.
And one of the things I know you've been trying to do a lot, and this goes into the second part of our topic and celebrations, is you have said, listen, I get to come here a lot, and there is a lot I still haven't tried. So when you come up for your birthday later this month, you're going to eat in a brand new restaurant that you have never tried in the past. It's not a new restaurant, it's new to you. And you're trying to sort of have your celebrations be a part of you exploring further into Walt Disney World.
Yeah, that's actually a really great way to put that. Yes, I spent most of my childhood and first half of my life more focused on rides and not so much on shows and restaurants and what the resorts have to offer other than rides. So yeah, I will be for the first time for me, new to me. I will be eating at the Brown Derby restaurant at Hollywood Studios that weekend for my birthday, and yeah, I've never even stepped foot in there. So I'm super excited, and my mom is too. She also has not experienced a lot of these things, and I think that's one of the things she used to complain about a lot when we used to go on vacations is that let's go to this restaurant. And me and dad would be like, no, let's go get in line for that ride. So she's getting to experience this stuff too. And I mean, I haven't had a bad experience yet. I'm super excited, looking forward to eating there.
I know I said this to you in person at Epcot the other day, and I'm going to reiterate it now. You have to try the grapefruit cake at
Ugh.
Hollywood Brown Derby. I swear,
Ugh.
you have to try it. It is so good, and I know that it doesn't sound good, but it is so good.
Maybe for my birthday cake, maybe I'll do that for you. I don't know. I'll talk to the waitress, the waiter, and see what they recommend. But I'll see.
They'll put all 26 candles on it. It'll be wonderful.
All right, maybe.
So, keeping with that theme, you recently did try a few restaurants that you had never thought about before at some of these resorts. Why don't you just talk about a couple of them and what you thought about them?
Yeah, we actually went to Olivia's at the Old Key West Resort for brunch. That was really fun. Definitely like I'm from South Florida and they blew the theming out of the park with that Key West stuff there. It definitely felt like you were like right on the beach, very open, airy, very bright, really cool kind of tacky decorations. Like they had photographs all over the walls. I guess people could just donate their own family photos from their vacations and whatnot, or I don't know if they sent them in or whatever, but it was everyone's family Disney vacation photos all over the walls. Yeah, we went to Kona too, Kona Cafe at the Polynesian Resort, which was great. I had this really awesome pork ramen. Like pork is like my favorite. Like if any restaurant has a pork dish, like I have to have it. Their pork belly ramen was really awesome. Also, I mean, theming at the Polynesian, like we could talk about that all day. Like Polynesian is just a really cool place to hang out. The awesome vibes there too. Like you could sit there all day and just like bliss out on how awesome it is in that
I
hotel.
have, so
Yeah.
I think a
Also
lot of
good.
us have done it, yes.
Yeah, also good for the monorail pub crawls.
That is a great segue. So, that is something that a lot of people, especially locals, have tried to do on occasion. It's a great thing to do, especially if somebody in your party doesn't have an annual pass, doesn't have a park ticket,
Yep.
and you still want to celebrate with some of those people. Maybe you come in from out of town and you're on vacation, but you know people who live around here and you want to celebrate with them. Well, you don't want to make them spend $150 to spend your birthday in a theme park with you. So you do something like a monorail bar crawl. And we've done these together before. They are so fun. Talk about, first of all, some of the bars that you get to hit on these, including Geyser Point, heading over and taking the boat over to Wilderness Lodge, because I enjoy these lounges as somebody who just likes Disney, who likes the party atmosphere or the outdoor relaxing atmosphere. But you're somebody who drinks and you actually do get to try drinks at these establishments.
Mentioning Geyser Point, that was my first time in the Wilderness Lodge, seeing a lot of that gorgeous, gorgeous area, the whole property. But yeah, Geyser Point was really nice. Like I would have never thought of it because I would have just stuck to the monorail itself, the track. We all know the loop, for Magic Kingdom. Well, I mean, me and you do, but I mean, like Polynesian, Grand Floridian, Contemporary, they all have very cool little lounges, bars that you can go in and, pick up a menu, grab a drink, maybe a snack, and, finish what you're doing and on to the next stop. It's really cool. Like I haven't done one for one of my celebrations, but again, we were helping our friends celebrate and it was a really, really awesome way to do that and more inclusive. Like you said, for not making your friends buy a park ticket.
I know that one of the really fun places to visit, it is a little pricey. It's very pricey. It's in the Grand Floridian, which they pride themselves on pricey there. But Enchanted Rose is a re-theme. It's kind of a newer lounge, or at least the theme is newer. It's themed towards Beauty and the Beast. It has some decor that is low key. It's not like going to one of the all-star resorts where the theming is like really in your face and it's big and obvious. It's understated Beauty and the Beast theming, And this is one of those places where you can feel classy when you're drinking because you're in this beautiful resort. They have fancy cocktails. Some of them, they'll make them right in front of you. I don't know if they're back to doing that yet. I know that took a little bit of a pandemic hiatus,
Mm.
but that has such a cool vibe there.
Subtle. The theming is subtle. Like I think the one room that me and you were in was like based off the library,
Right.
like that with the books and everything, and like you could like if you've seen the movie, if you're a fan, you can definitely pick up on this stuff. But if not, it's just still a really beautiful, elegant, nice place to have a drink.
And as somebody who doesn't drink, I was able to get like a fancy French coffee and feel kind of frou frou while everybody was celebrating. And you don't feel left out as somebody who's just getting a soda like I normally will do in these types of situations. Like I was able to get something that felt a little fancy and felt like I was part of the vibe. Over at the Contemporary Resort, they just reopened one of their lounges over there, the Outer Rim. This one's really cool because it has a view of Bay Lake on the other side of the Contemporary. Obviously, the one side with the monorails faces Magic Kingdom, and the other side faces out towards Bay Lake. And they just reopened the Outer Rim. There's the Top of the World Lounge if you want to venture, and you're definitely going to be paying a premium for your drinks there, but you might have that chance to see the Magic Kingdom fireworks at night, and that's always incredible if you can do that, but you're definitely going to pay for it. And then an experience I haven't had on the East Coast, and this is getting back to the Polynesian. I have never done Walt Disney World's Trader Sam's.
Oh, you're missing out, bro.
So why don't you fill anybody in who has never done this, who doesn't even know what we're talking about when we say Trader Sam's? The vibe here is excellent. I've done the Disneyland version. I have not done the Walt Disney World version.
I had an epic night at Trader Sam's. It's tiny, like it's a tiny space, but it's almost like you've walked into the tiki room. I'd say half of it is almost like the tiki room show. But the bartenders, the servers, they're all very sassy. They're all very sarcastic, like the '50s primetime diner, where they're rude to you on purpose. But pricey, yes. The drinks will cost you a pretty penny, but they're awesome and they're strong. They're theme drinks where you order a certain drink and something it will take over the whole bar.
They will have like a celebration or a practice skit for every time somebody orders one particular drink, and something will happen here or over there. That is definitely something that happened at the Disneyland version as well. It makes everybody feel a part of your celebration of whatever you're doing. Maybe you're just celebrating being on a Walt Disney World vacation, but it takes everybody in that bar and connects you. And that's the kind of vibe that I really like when I'm at a lounge. Even if I'm not drinking alcohol, you like to feel like everybody's having a good time and this is relaxing. Because by the time you're at Trader Sam's, most people are probably, the dogs are barking. They have been in the parks all day long. They might be a little grouchy. And then you get into the air conditioning, you get this fun vibe, and you connect with people who might be from all over the world.
Yes, it does bring everybody together. Like we sat, like I said, it's a small space, and we sat with different parties of people. Like we were there all night. We closed the place down, but we did have several different parties of people. A couple different couples would come and sit at the table we were sitting at as they progressed through the night. They finished their drinks and move on. It does bring everybody together.
That actually makes me think about a bar at one of the resorts I've visited a few times that I think has a really cool vibe. I don't know if it fits in with the celebration vibe, but it does with a big sporting event coming up this weekend that will remain nameless because I don't want to pay royalties. But Rick's Sports Bar at Coronado Springs, there used to be the ESPN zone at Boardwalk. That's no longer there. Now, really, the only place to go on Walt Disney World property to really watch sporting events is Rick's at Coronado Springs. That's a big convention resort. So they get people coming in from different parts of the country and they all want to watch their sports team. Courtney and I went there on Christmas Eve, and that just so happened to be a big day for the NFL this past year. And you had people in Kansas City Chiefs gear, you had people in Bengals gear. Everybody was taking their break from the parks to watch their teams play at Rick's because it's basically the only sports bar on property right now. So that is a place to celebrate, maybe not a birthday or maybe not an anniversary. Certainly not an anniversary. Courtney made that very, very clear. But if your team's in the big game, that might be the only place that you get to watch it when you're in Walt Disney World. What are some other lounges as we talk about drinking as an extension of celebration? And I don't get to talk about that very much on this show. What are some of your other favorite lounges, even the ones in the parks?
Oga's, of course. I mean, that's the number one spot for everybody, right? Oga's is great. Again, like whether you're a Star Wars fan or not, like it's an amazing place to hang out at, and whether you're drinking or not, they have non-alcoholic versions of everything. I every drink I've had there, I've loved, and the atmosphere, like I can't, like I don't know, like how many other ways to say it. It's just so cool, the music and your whole time there, whether you're there for a half an hour or 2 hours, it's an amazing time.
They usually limit you to 45 minutes. Like that's at least their goal or what they tell you they're going to do when you enter. I will say it is not themed after the cantina from A New Hope, but it has so many vibes that are so similar to that cantina, and they were able to, by not completely replicating it, put in some new aspects that are different from that one. Everything just really goes together so well. I do this maybe twice a year so that it doesn't get too routine for me. But even though I know some of the gags and some of the gimmicks that I'm going to see if I'm there for 45 minutes, and always make sure you stay for at least the whole 45 minutes because there is kind of a rotation or a story that happens while you're there. Even though I know what's going to happen, I'm still enjoying it every time. I love watching people experience it for the first time. And DJ Rex, who's voiced by Pee Wee Herman, is just unbelievably entertaining. Funny. The music that they play is really on point to the theme. You're right. This place is something that actually delivers.
Could not agree more. It's an awesome place. Another place that I've been to a couple times is the Nomad Lounge in Animal Kingdom. Super chill. Not like, overly fancy to me, at least not to me. But if you can get in there, it's a nice place to sit. I mean, don't they say that's the hottest park of all the parks? Like,
I feel it is the hottest park. I know that Marissa will argue with us and say that she has never been as hot as she has at points in Hollywood Studios and Epcot, which, granted,
yeah, it's Florida.
Good point.
Yeah.
They get hot too, but there's something about it trapping in the humidity where it's not even like you feel hot, it's you feel muggy.
Yeah.
At Animal Kingdom.
It's a nice place to get out of the heat and cool off with a drink and some snacks. I've had the charcuterie there and a couple of their signature, alcoholic beverages. And it's just a really, really nice experience whenever I can get in there.
So I used to love the bread service at Nomad Lounge, and then they changed it. And I'm going to say I don't like it as much now. But one of the things I really like at Nomad Lounge is that they have churros, and it's a set of like 3 churros. They come with dipping sauces, and it's
Ooh.
$9.
Mm.
So for 3 churros for $9, that's not that bad at all. It's a nice little refreshing snack to have when you get out of the heat. You get yourself a drink, you sit there, you have a couple churros. There's also a setup where you can donate at least $1 to Disney's Animal Conservation Fund, and they give you a little card, and the card has a question about how you travel. And then you can fill out this card and answer the question, and they will hang it up on the ceiling. You can look up and see all of these cards that people have filled out before. So I like to do that every time I'm at Nomad Lounge. I feel like it's my way of kind of becoming a part of the park. I pay $1, I donate it to a good cause, and then I get put up there in Animal Kingdom. Everybody who comes in there, like, I just know that I'm there all the time, plus answering questions about travel. I mean, that's sort of what I do
That's your
all
bag.
day, right? So I could not agree more about Nomad Lounge. This is a great place. And like you said, it's not so fancy that you feel uncomfortable. Sometimes when you're getting out of a theme park and you're trying to get into some AC and you don't feel all that great, you don't feel fancy.
Very fresh.
Correct. You have that not so fresh feeling. So you don't want to go to a place that's too fancy, but this is also a fancy enough place that if you want to put on a polo and khakis and sort of have a more upscale theme park day where you're not just running from ride to ride, it's also the kind of place where you can have that type of experience and nobody feels out of place. The person who's dressed a little better or the person who's just dressed to get on Cali River Rapids next.
Totally.
Now, this is one where we disagree, and this is always fun. Baseline Tap House in Disney's Hollywood Studios. I feel this has a nice neighborhood corner bar kind of feel, but to you, and you make some good points when you talk about this, you already have neighborhood corner bars. So maybe having that experience waiting in a long line at Disney's Hollywood Studios isn't the best way to spend your time.
Yeah, I get the whole brewery gastropub thing. It's very in. It's very happening right now. But yeah, like I said, I have a dozen of those right down the block from where I live, and you've seen one, you've seen them all. Is it a great establishment like most Disney dining experiences? It is. I just again, I'm not a huge beer and wine fan, so the menu doesn't appeal to me. It's not the first place I think of where I want to sit and stop and have a snack or a drink.
And that's fair. That makes a lot of sense. And there are so many more great lounges all throughout Walt Disney World. These are just some highlights. These are some of the more popular ones, but almost every Walt Disney World resort hotel has a pool bar. Some of them have another lounge in there somewhere. There are definitely places to have a celebration or to just relax and not spend all of your time running from ride to ride to ride. A couple of other things, if you're looking to celebrate, and Gillian and I, especially at this moment in our lives, can really appreciate this one. There's some free things that you can get to celebrate at Walt Disney World. We all know about the celebration buttons. Why don't you tell people about those?
Yeah, you could. There's a stop at either like City Hall at Magic Kingdom or any guest service area usually where you can stop in and ask for a button. They'll ask you what you're celebrating. It doesn't just have to be a birthday. They usually have several different buttons. A lot of the times they'll even go to certain lengths to decorate the button fancy with your name and everything and what you're celebrating. They'll put that right on the button for you to wear all day. And when you wear it all day throughout the parks, most cast members will shout you out and congratulate you, or, best wishes on whatever it is that you're there celebrating, and make some extra magic for you. It's really awesome.
And sometimes you will get gifted a pixie dust moment, but in the Disney Adults episode a few weeks back, we said, don't expect that kind of stuff. There are sometimes special bonus things that cast members like to do, or cast members are given the opportunity to do like once a day, and maybe you'll get one of those things, but do not expect it, because then there start to be these situations where people write on some Facebook group that they got gifted a cupcake at Haunted Mansion because they were wearing an anniversary button, and then everybody gets mad when they're at Haunted Mansion wearing their anniversary button and they don't get a cupcake. Be happy when it happens to you, but for the love of God, be nice to the cast members. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. Don't be entitled to those things.
So are there any other things that you like to do to celebrate big events that I didn't mention yet?
I can't really think. I mean, that's it for me. I'm a creature of habit. Like, I'm fine with my drinking around the world, from Mexico to Canada. My nice birthday meal, preferably at a new restaurant that I haven't experienced yet. I mean, that's just me.
I do know that since your birthday is this month, one thing you did used to do, and you're not doing it this year, was you used to do one of the races during Princess Half Marathon weekend as a part of your birthday. I actually hung out with you after you did the 10K back in 2020, about 2 weeks before the world ended.
Yeah.
I did the half marathon that morning, and then you had done the 10K the previous day, and we hung out in Magic Kingdom. But that is not the weekend to celebrate your birthday, because it gets slammed.
No, you're right. And I forgot about this. Oh my God. And I did do that because that race weekend has always been the weekend of my actual birthday. I mean, for as long as I've been alive. But for a few years, when I was hardcore, training and running, I did celebrate my birthday doing those races and spending the weekend being congratulated for not only my birthday, but for finishing the princess runs. If that's something you want to do, you want to try something new, accomplish a new goal in your life, sign up for one of those runs and do that for your birthday. That's what I did. And I did enjoy it. Not right now. I'm a little on the sidelines with running right now, but that is something to do.
I am a little on the sidelines as far as running is concerned, but I am running Princess Half Marathon weekend, so I am petrified about that. On another note, if you're looking to celebrate my birthday, this year at Epcot, Living Color is playing in Epcot on my birthday. You can see Cult of Personality as part of the Garden Rocks concert series through Epcot's Flower and Garden Festival, which apparently starts in March and doesn't end until about 14 minutes before they start Food and Wine Festival.
I'll meet you there. Let's go for Living Color, baby.
Oh, we're totally gonna go see Living Color, of course. Gillian, happy birthday, and thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, bestie.
This has been episode 106 of Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty. Coming up next week, Sarah Says will be back on the show for the first time in over a month. She has been very busy, and I know all of our listeners are missing her, even though we all appreciate Marissa, Gillian, the Sarah Enigma, Kiki, and Steven from A Life in the Parks for filling in while she was taking a break. Sarah and I will be talking about the opening of Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Hollywood. That will be next Thursday on Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty. Until then, have a great week.